जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदनंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदनंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरावनचारी यमुना तीरावनचारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Astottara Sata Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Abhay Charanaravindra Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Their Lordship Shri Shri Radha Radhanath Ki Jai. Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman Ki Jai. Gaur Hari Ki Jai. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the lotus feet, Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. So this morning we'll read from our Ramayana, which is found in the Srimad Bhagavatam. It's a summary given by Srila Sukadev Goswami, and it's in the 9th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. And we're fortunate that Prabhupada, he completed this translation for us, and he's given us nice purports which we can follow. The pastimes of Lord Krishna are not to be imitated, but we can follow the words of Lord Krishna, especially which are spoken in Bhagavad Gita. But the pastimes of Lord Ram are for our benefit as human beings. So in certain cases, under spiritual, bona fide spiritual guidance, we can follow these pastimes, the way Lord Ram acted in different situations. So we'll read from Srimad Bhagavatam, 9th canto, the pastimes of Lord Ramachandra. Narayanam namaskrityam naram cheva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam udhirayat nasta prayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naistuki. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So I will read the verses. It's a few verses that I've chosen. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 10, entitled The Pastimes of Lord Ramachandra. Text 3. Tasya anucharitam rajan rishibis tattva darshibhir shrutam hi varnitam bhuri Tvaya Sita Patir Muhur. Translation. O King Parikshit, the transcendental activities of Lord Ramachandra have been described by great saintly persons who have seen the truth. Because you have heard again and again about Lord Ramachandra, the husband of Mother Sita, I shall describe these activities only in brief. Please listen. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Modern Rakshasas, posing as educationally advanced merely because they have doctorates, have tried to prove that Lord Ramachandra is not the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but an ordinary person. But those who are learned and spiritually advanced will never accept such notions. They will accept the descriptions of Lord Ramachandra and his activities only as presented by Tattva Darshis, those who know the absolute truth. In Bhagavad Gita 4:34, the Supreme Personality of Godhead advises, Tad vidi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadakshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattva darshina. Translation: just learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized soul can impart knowledge unto you because he has seen the truth. Unquote. Unless one is tattva darshi, in complete knowledge of the absolute truth, one cannot describe the activities of the personality of Godhead. Therefore, although there are many so-called Ramayanas or histories of Lord Ramachandra's activities, some of them are not actually authoritative. Sometimes Lord Ramachandra's activities are described in terms of one's own imagination, speculations or material sentiments. But the characteristics of Lord Ramachandra should not be handled as something imaginary. While describing the history of Lord Ramachandra, Sukadev Goswami told Maharaj Parikshit, you have already heard about the activities of Lord Ramachandra. Apparently, before 5,000 years ago, there were many Ramayanas or histories of Lord Ramachandra's activities. And there are many still, but we must select only those books written by Tattva Darshis, Jnaninas Tattva Darshina, not the books of so-called scholars who claim knowledge only on the basis of a doctorate. This is a warning by Sukadev Goswami, Rishibhis Tattva Darshibhi. Although the Ramayana composed by Valmiki is a huge literature, the same activities are summarized here by Sukadev Goswami in a few verses. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurul Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manubhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutha Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sahagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padansi Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Satadevi Pranamami Hari Priye. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Pascheta Dishatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavbhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Adi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So Srila Prabhupada makes a very nice point. Modern Rakshasas posing as educationally advanced. So we can understand, or we should understand, a little history, maybe over the last 1,000 years of India. India became subjugated, or they were ruled by foreigners, and the Mughals and the British. And they did great harm to the spiritual culture of India. We find when the Mughals came in, they practically wanted to physically destroy Vedic culture. There's so much history or evidence that they would destroy temples, and they would take those materials and construct their buildings. They would break the deity in the temple, and they would turn it into floor tiles so people could walk on it. They would kill brahmanas. They would burn libraries that had books on Vedic knowledge, the Vedas. So this was very serious offense to Vedic culture. And this is how they wanted to destroy Vedic culture. They wanted to convert people to their faith. And also when the British came in, they had a similar idea. They felt the only way to fully take over India was to get the people to go to convert them to Christianity. So both the Mughals and British, they tried, but the greatest efforts were on education. They saw how the Gurukul system was working, and it was working perfectly, where the teacher was imparting Vedic knowledge unto the students. This was the Vedic system of education. And both the Mughals and the British, they tried to change this. Especially recently, after this was when the British left. During the British time, also we find so much evidence that how they tried to change the educational system of India. And one of the things that they put in place was to educate people that these pastimes are just merely stories. They're mythology. And they tried to entrench it in the educational system. And they were getting the most intelligent Indian boys, and they even established the British Sanskrit colleges in England, where they would send these young Indians to go and study. So eventually they would bring them back and send them to different places in India to set up the education there. And eventually this was all aimed to take people away from the Vedic culture and follow another religion. So this is how India spiritually has become polluted, and we see that in modern day, especially those who visit India will see that although many Indians follow Vedic culture, but they still feel that these are just stories. The pastimes of Krishna, the pastimes of Lord Ram. It is because of this last 1,000 years of foreign rule in India. And they tried the most important way, because everyone, especially parents, they want the best education for their children. And this is what the British, during their time, they tried to emphasize, and they tried to put it into their system of education for India. So, therefore, Prabhupada is saying that we have to take advice from those who are Tattva-darshis, or those who have seen the truth. And those who have seen the truth, like Srila Prabhupada and our Guru Parampara, they are advising us simply that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is a very important point. It is always stressed. Those of us who can remember when we first came into Krishna consciousness, there's something that we're not familiar with hearing, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We would hear Bhagavan, Malik, and all different names of God. But Supreme Personality of Godhead, we're wondering, what is this Supreme Personality of Godhead? Then we understand when we read Bhagavad Gita and Krishna book, oh yes, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Krishna is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead. And it's very important to understand, although we're trying to glorify Lord Ramachandra, but unless we have this knowledge, then we can fully accept, yes, he is a person. God is ultimately a person. In Vedic understanding, there's three ways we can understand God: as Brahman, which is the all-pervasive nature of God. Then the localized aspect is Paramatma, or the Lord within our heart. And then ultimately Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which includes the other two aspects, the Brahman and Paramatma. So this is what Prabhupada is giving us. He's giving us the highest spiritual understanding of God as a person. And he always stressed this, that this is the main cause of impersonalism and voidism, because we are simply accepting these activities of Krishna and his incarnations as mythology, as stories. And therefore Prabhupada once commented that the most important place to preach is India, because India has become contaminated by this. And we can see how easily people are taking or going away from the Vedic culture. So ultimately, God is a person, and we should accept, yes, Krishna is a person, and we can ultimately speak to him. We can meet him face to face, and we can have his association. But there's a process to be followed for us to get to that position. We can understand it clearly that we should make this our goal, that ultimately one day we will meet Krishna personally and talk to him. Just like how we now have our interactions, we will be able to do that with Lord Krishna. So, Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Krishna is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he has many incarnations, many expansions. So today we are observing the appearance day of Lord Ram, who is Krishna in the form of an ideal king. Lord Krishna has many incarnations, and all his incarnations, when Krishna appears in these incarnations, he comes to perform a specific function. You'll find there's probably the first incarnation is the fish incarnation. He comes and he saves the Vedas. Then there's the tortoise incarnation. He comes and he carries the mountain on his back, and it acts as a pivot for the churning. And then there's the boar incarnation. He holds up the earth. He saves the earth. He holds the earth on the tip of his tusk. Then there's the half-man, half-lion incarnation, Lord Nrsingadev. He protects his devotee and he kills the demon, Hiranyakashipu. Then there's a little Brahmin boy. He comes as Lord Vamanadev, and he deceives King Bali by his 3 steps, and also through his lotus feet comes the holy water of the Ganges, and it purifies the material creation. Then there's Lord Parashurama. He comes and he destroys the Kshatriyas. Then he comes as Lord Ramachandra himself, which we'll be discussing today. Lord Ramachandra comes to defeat the demon Ravana, and he comes as Lord Buddha to save the animals. And towards the end of this age of Kali, Krishna will come as Kalki avatar, and he'll simply destroy all those who are not spiritually inclined. So in this way we see that all the incarnations, there's a specific purpose behind these incarnations. And also Lord Ram comes as an ideal king. So we'll continue reading a few more verses to understand some of the activities of Lord Ram that we can try and follow. So let's read text 27. Translation. O greatly fortunate one, you come under the influence of lusty desires, and therefore you could not understand the influence of Mother Sita. Now because of her curse, you have been reduced to this state, having been killed by Lord Ramachandra. So this is a verse spoken by the wife of Ravana. Ravana was killed, and now his wife Manodhari is lamenting. So Prabhupada gives a nice instruction in his purport. Prabhupada writes, not only was Mother Sita powerful, but any woman who follows in the footsteps of Mother Sita can also become similarly powerful. There are many instances of this in the history of Vedic literature. Whenever we find a description of ideal chaste women, Mother Sita is among them. Manodhari, the wife of Ravana, was also very chaste. Similarly, Draupadi was one of the five exalted chaste women. As a man must follow great personalities like Brahma and Narada, a woman must follow the path of such ideal women as Sita. Mandodhari and Draupadi, by staying chaste and faithful to her husband, a woman enriches herself with supernatural power. It is a moral principle that one should not be influenced by lusty desires for another's wife. Matvat para dareshu. An intelligent person must look upon another's wife as being like his mother. This is a moral instruction from Chanakya Shloka. Quote, one who considers another's wife as his mother, another's possessions as a lump of dirt, and treats all other living beings as he would himself, is considered to be learned. Thus, Ravana was condemned not only by Lord Ramachandra, but even by his own wife, Mandodhari. Because she was a chaste woman, she knew the power of another chaste woman, especially such as a wife like Mother Sita Devi. Shri Shri Radha Radhanath ki jai, Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman ki jai, Giriraj Govardhan ki jai, Gaur Hari ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So we'll continue reading text 29. Shri Sukadev Goswami said, Vibhishana, a pious brother of Ravana and a devotee of Lord Ramachandra, received approval from Lord Ramachandra, the king of Koshala. Then he performed the prescribed funeral ceremonies for his family members to save them from the path of hell. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. After giving up the body, one is transferred to another body. But sometimes, if one is too sinful, he is checked from transmigrating to another body, and thus he becomes a ghost. To save a diseased person from a ghostly life, the funeral ceremony or Shraddha ceremony, as prescribed in authorized Shastra, must be performed. Ravana was killed by Lord Ramachandra and was destined for hellish life. But by Lord Ramachandra's advice, Vibhishana, Ravana's brother, performed all the duties prescribed in relation to the death. Thus Lord Ramachandra was kind to Ravana even after Ravana's death. So here we find that Lord Ramachandra, although Ravana was such a great demon and he caused so much problems, so much distress he placed others into, still Lord Ramachandra advised his brother Vibhishana to perform the Shraddha ceremony so his brother could be liberated. Or in this way he'd save his brother from the hellish conditions. So this is Lord Ram's kindness, that he didn't hold anything in his heart. This person, sometimes when someone is aggressive to us, they cause problems for us, we tend to hate this person, let's hope something bad happens to him. But here we find, although Ravana, he stole Lord Ram's wife, but still Lord Ram, he told his brother, you perform the Shraddha ceremony. So this will save your brother from going to hell. This is Lord Ram's compassionate nature, his soft heart, his kindness. It's a great example that we can follow. Don't hold anything in your heart for anyone, doesn't matter what they do. Always wish the best and wish others well in this life. In this way you'll have a clean heart. See? So here's a great example we can follow from the activities of Lord Ram, that he advised Ravana's brother, you perform the Shraddha ceremony. So this will save your brother from going to hell. And let's move on a little. Takes 50s. So we'll read a little of Lord Ram's leadership qualities. Lord Ramachandra became king during Treta Yuga, but because of his good government, the age was like Satya Yuga. Everyone was religious and completely happy. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Among the 4 ages or yugas, Satya, Treta, Dwapara and Kali, the Kali Yuga is the worst. But if the progress of Varnashrama Dharma is introduced, even in this age of Kali, the situation of Satya Yuga can be invoked. The Hare Krishna movement or Krishna consciousness movement is meant for this purpose. Kale dosha nidhi rajan asti hi eko mahan gunan kirtanat eva krishnasya mukta sangha param vrajet. Quote, translation. My dear king, although Kali Yuga is full of faults, there is still one good quality about this age. Simply by chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, one can become free from material bondage and be promoted to the transcendental kingdom. Srimad Bhagavatam 12:351. If people take to this Sankirtan movement of chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, they will certainly be freed from the contamination of Kali Yuga, and the people of this age will be happy, as people were in Satya Yuga, the golden age. Anyone, anywhere can easily take to this Hare Krishna movement. One need only to chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, observe the rules and regulations, and stay free from the contamination of sinful life. Even if one is sinful and cannot give up sinful life immediately, if he chants Hare Krishna Maha Mantra if he chants Hare Krishna Maha Mantra with devotion and faith, he will certainly be freed from all sinful activities, and his life will be successful. Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. This is the blessing of Lord Ramachandra, who has appeared in this age of Kali as Lord Gora Sundara. So this is Lord Ramachandra's leadership quality, that simply by following what has been given by the Acharyas, if we follow the example of Lord Ram, especially his leadership qualities, it's clearly mentioned. Lord Ramachandra became king in Treta Yuga, but because of his good government, the age was like Satya Yuga. Everyone was religious and completely happy. Although as a nation we do not see this, but individually we can see it. Devotees who are practicing, and they are peaceful and happy. Therefore we have to bring in many people. It's always mentioned that if one stick is easy to break, But we have a bunch of sticks is very difficult to break. So this is the leadership of Lord Ram, that whoever follows his example, follows his instructions, they will become peaceful and happy even in the most degraded condition. Even if you're suffering so much, you'll still be peaceful and happy. So this is Lord Ram's leadership qualities, that he is able to make people peaceful and happy under his leadership. So Prabhupada always mentioned that we should invite the most intelligent people to our festivals. We should invite leaders of society, the government officials, to come and hear this message. And we see that our festivals, we're also always trying to get some big person to come. And then the most important thing I've seen is that at the end they always receive a set of Prabhupada's books. So that's good. And we pray that they will read, someday they will read, and hopefully they'll be able to be, they'll be enlightened in some way. This is Lord Ram's special mercy, his leadership qualities, that we can become peaceful and happy. Another nice instruction towards the end of this chapter, very important. Eka patni vrata dharo raja rishi charita suchi swadharmam griha medhiyam shikshayan shwayam acharat. Translation: Lord Ramachandra took a vow to accept only one wife and have no connection with any other woman. He was a saintly king, and everything in his character was good, untinged by qualities like anger. He taught good behavior to everyone, especially for householders, in terms of varnashrama dharma. Thus he taught the general public by his personal activities. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Eka patni vrata, accepting only one wife, is the glorious example set by Lord Ramachandra. One should not accept more than one wife. In those days, of course, people did marry more than one wife. Even Lord Ramachandra's father accepted more wives than one. But Lord Ramachandra, as an ideal king, accepted only one wife, Mother Sita. When Mother Sita was kidnapped by Ravana and the Rakshasas, Lord Ramachandra, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, could have married hundreds and thousands of Sitas. But to teach us how faithful he was to his wife, he fought with Ravana and finally killed him. The Lord punished Ravana and rescued his wife to instruct men to have only one wife. Lord Ramachandra accepted only one wife and manifested sublime character, thus setting example for householders. A householder should live according to the ideal of Lord Ramachandra, who showed how to be a perfect person. Being a householder or living with a wife and children is never condemned, provided one lives according to the regulative principles of varnashrama dharma. Those who live in accordance with these principles, whether as householders, brahmacharis, or vanaprasthas, are all equally important. So Prabhupada also encourages the same thing. Accept one wife only, but you should live according to Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada has given us many guidelines of how a Grihastha should live. So this is also a very nice instruction from Lord Ramachandra. So we'll end with one benediction. This is found in the next chapter, chapter 11. Lord Ramachandra rules the world. It's very nice we're all looking for some result for our activities, even in spiritual life. So here's a nice benediction from Lord Ramachandra on his appearance day. So it's Canto 9, Chapter 11. Lord Ramachandra rules the world. Text 23. Purusho Rama Charitam Shravanir Upadarayam Anrisha Arishamsya Parorajan Karma Bhandir Vimuchyate. Translation. O King, anyone who orally receives the narrations concerning the characteristics of Lord Ramachandra's pastimes will ultimately be freed from the disease of envy and thus be liberated from the bondage of fruitive activities. This is actually a benediction from Sukadev Goswami on the pastimes. He is speaking to Maharaj Parikshit, and he says, O King Parikshit, anyone who orally receives the narrations concerning the characteristics of Lord Ramachandra's pastimes will ultimately be freed from the disease of envy and thus be liberated from the bondage of fruitive activities. Srila Prabhupada writes, here in this material world, everyone is envious of someone else. Even in religious life, it is sometimes found that if one devotee has advanced in spiritual activities, other devotees are envious of him. Such envious devotees are not completely freed from the bondage of birth and death. As long as one is not completely free from the cause of birth and death, one cannot enter the Sanatana Dhamma, or the eternal pastimes of the Lord. One becomes envious because of being influenced by the designations of the body. But the liberated devotee has nothing to do with the body, and therefore he is completely on the transcendental platform. A devotee is never envious of anyone, even his enemy, because the devotee knows that the Lord is the supreme protector. He thinks, what harm can the so-called enemy do? Thus a devotee is confident about his protection. The Lord says, Ye yatha mam prapadyante tamstateva bhajami aham. According to the proportion of one's surrender unto me, I respond accordingly. A devotee must therefore be completely free from envy, especially to other devotees. To envy another devotee is a great offense, Vaishnava aparad. A devotee who constantly engages in hearing and chanting, Shravana, Kirtana, is certainly freed from the disease of envy, and thus he becomes eligible to go back home, back to Godhead. So this benediction given by Sukadev Goswami is very important, and he stresses of all the diseases, envy is, according to this verse, is the greatest. O King Parikshit, anyone who orally receives the narrations concerning the characteristics of Lord Ramachandra's pastimes will ultimately be freed from the disease of envy. He specifically mentions envy. And Prabhupada in his purport, he speaks more of envy of devotees. So we can judge where we are. This is the mercy and blessings of Lord Ramachandra, that we are able to try and understand his pastime, but more to go a little deeper and see how Prabhupada is guiding us through these purports, how to understand, how to take the teachings of Lord Ramachandra and put it into practical application, into practical use, how to work on our minds, things like that. We have envy, we have so many situations. So here we can see in this benediction, envy is our greatest disease. And Prabhupada gives us very nice instructions how we can become free. A devotee who constantly engages in hearing and chanting is certainly freed from the disease of envy, and thus becomes eligible to go back home, back to Godhead. So again, Lord Krishna is appearing as Lord Ram, so we can understand his pastimes. Janma karma cha me divyam. One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities in this material world does not take birth again, but enters into my eternal kingdom, or into the spiritual world. This is Lord Krishna's promise. And by understanding this pastime of Lord Ramachandra, we are in direct line with that instruction or verse of Bhagavad Gita spoken by Lord Krishna. We simply have to try and become more and more Krishna conscious. Hare Krishna. Krishna. So we'll take your comments and questions if you'd like to add on. Jai Sachidanand Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. So thank you for that class. Early on you mentioned about the colonists who colonized. You mentioned the British and the Mughals, and that how they destroyed Vedic culture. But actually Prabhupada comments that the worst was the caste brahmanas of India who destroyed the Vedic culture. And up till today is very prevalent, the caste system. And one time I was reading the newspaper, and there was like 10 pages dedicated to matchmaking. Somebody, I'm from a high-class family, from so-and-so place. I'm looking for a spouse of the same. So we can see like that, and I was so amazed by that. You know, it's still there. It's still very prevalent, this caste system, and that internally, that is what's destroying the culture of India more than anything else. And we should always embrace the teachings of Lord Chaitanya. He said, I'm not a Brahmana, I'm not a Kshatriya, I'm not a Vaishya, not a Sudra. No, I'm a Brahmachari, householder, Vanaprasthani. Then what I am? I'm a servant of the servant of the servant of the servant, following in the footsteps of the gopis of Vrindavan. And also Rupa Goswami in his teachings, in the Nectar of Devotion, very important verse, he quotes there. Sarva upadi venirmuktam tat paridvaina nirmalam. He says we have to give up all these designations of who I am and what. Become free from that, cleanse ourselves from that. So until that point, then we'll always be on the bodily concept and not be liberated. Actual liberation is to become free from these designations. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Yeah.
Thank you, Radhika Jivan Prabhu.
Thanks.
Could you please elaborate on this point that the principle of chastity for a brahmachari or sannyasi lies within the principle of never deviating from Guru's order?
Yes. So we read in the first verse, Prabhupada quotes, Tadvini pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadakshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattva darshina. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. That is the beginning. So that should be our life and soul. We are fortunate that we've come in contact with a bona fide disciplic succession. That is special mercy by Lord Krishna. So we should, whatever little instruction we get, we should try and make that our life and soul. And then there'll be no chance of deviation, but we can only advance from that point on. So this is, in the beginning, is always the most important thing. Just like in a mathematical calculation, you'll ultimately come to an answer, But if you get the first step wrong, then ultimately your answer will be wrong. So the first step is to have implicit faith in the words of the Guru. We sing every morning Samsara Dava, and then we sing Srila Prabhupada's Guru Puja song. We should know the meaning and translation of this. So always, Guru is always first. And we are fortunate again, that even many of us, for years we were not initiated, but still we had that attraction for Krishna consciousness. So it was because of Prabhupada and the devotees who were strictly following. And by their example, first is always the devotee, the Guru is always first. So in this way we can understand our position simply through those who are strictly following the Guru Parampara.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Any other questions or comments? Okay. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.